Okay. Oh, hold on there.
Thank you.
All right. All right, we'll go ahead and call the Thursday, March 29th meeting to order. Please join me in reciting the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, Carol Sue, please.
Ron Miller.
Yes, present.
Jeff Franklin.
Here. Approval of minutes. Is there any discussion?
I make a motion we approve the minutes of March 22nd.
And I will second. Minutes have been, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? 2-0. Approval of claims. Claims total $300,050.18. Is there any
I make a
discussion?
motion that we approve the claims of $300,050.18.
And I'll second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Approval of licenses. First Choice Electric. This is for a sewer builder's license. No? Okay, I'll highlight that. Okay, this is for approval of an electrical license. I would make the motion that we approve the request.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That license is approved on a vote of 2-0. Any changes to the agenda?
None.
None? Okay. Old business, 920 West Miami. Okay, can you come up? Maybe you too, Dan?
Sorry, Your Honor.
That's okay. 920 West Miami.
There were bushes out front. We condemned the house last week. We asked that the street department go pull them out because you couldn't even get to the front door.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And street department did that?
Yes, sir, and at the time I thought it would look better with the bushes, but it looks a lot better. It actually looks good. There was a lot of leaves and trash and 3 dump trucks.
Of brush.
Around there.
Okay. For the record, I received a call yesterday from a gentleman that lives in Virginia. Told me that he owns the property. He had recently bought that in he said a tax sale, although I'm not sure it was a tax sale. He intends to flip the property. One of the neighbors also contacted me and told me that she intended to buy the property. So that may be our future contact. But I had asked the owner in Virginia to also forward a copy of the contract to us with the contact information of the person who's purchasing the property. So as soon as I get that, I will pass it along. And as usual, thank you for your good work. If you could stay there, Deb. 512 North Street.
That was, we were discussing tearing down at least part of the building, the unsafe part.
Any developments with that?
No, not yet.
Okay. And 1728 Michigan Avenue. I see the Quigneys are here. Can you give me an update on that?
I believe they have a plan of action
Okay.
for us. I have not seen it yet, but
Okay.
I was told that they do.
All right. Julia, Jim, can you come up? Okay. Yeah. All right. First of all, I want to thank you for the progress that you have made, and it's definitely recognizable, and I appreciate your cooperation. You have a plan of action as far as to to complete it? Do you know what that is?
Well, we've got to get a new storage unit, or storage shed. Right now, the stuff's going in my son's garage.
Okay, but you're going to get a new shed?
Yeah,
Okay, do you have any idea when that's going to be?
between now and the 3rd of next month,
Now and the 3rd of April? Okay.
when I get paid.
Okay.
Or no, be the 3rd of, yeah, April.
Yeah, okay, just a few days. All right, well, we're certainly willing to work with you, and I appreciate all
We're
the...
getting the property surveyed so that we can finally decide where the tree belongs.
Okay. Do you know, as far as the survey, when that's going to take place?
Sometime, from what I understand, either next week or the week after, as soon as their guy gets back to work.
Okay. So we will, we'll go ahead and monitor this, and we'll be in contact, but we could expect a new shed by no later than the middle of April?
Well, the stuff will be out of the yard
Right.
probably within a week.
Okay.
But the shed will be whenever we can get it and get it up.
Okay, but you think the shed will be after the 3rd of April?
Yeah, it'll be after the 3rd.
Okay, but the rest of the your belongings that are in the yard will be gone this week.
Other
Okay.
than the lawn furniture.
Okay, right. Right. We're good with lawn furniture.
Then we're going to get-
Will you let us also know the results of the survey?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're also going to get Frontier telephone company has
Uh-huh.
to come and trim tree limbs out of their wires.
Uh-huh.
And I have called them 5 times so far, and no
Yeah.
response, no nothing.
Yeah, usually Frontier does not, but I have some contacts with Frontier. I will call them myself. And,
The guy that was supposed to call us, his last name is Baumgartner.
okay, I'll give Gary a call and see if, see what he can advise me on that. I'll be in contact with you and let you know.
Because, I mean, the wires are really getting stretched.
Okay, if you will advise the building department as soon as you get the survey completed, then we can follow up with that, and we'll be looking forward to that within a couple weeks.
And
Okay.
Who's doing the survey for you?
A guy out of Frankfurt.
Okay.
Okay.
Somebody my daughter-in-law knows.
Okay. And in the meantime, Deb, I don't know if 39 degrees north would show the property lines on that or not.
39 degrees north is a little off. I mean, it would tell me the width of the property,
Uh-huh.
the length of the property, but the actual property lines don't look exactly weird.
Okay. Is there any resource we could go to in city or county government that would have that information? I'm trying to save you the cost of a survey.
I would love that.
Yeah.
The only possible thing I could think of is, and this doesn't happen all the time, is that your water meter sets almost right on the property line.
Oh, our
But
water
you might
meter-
have to, you may also have to look in the back for space, but
Yeah.
put it
Okay.
And
Well,
see, our water meter's like right in the middle of right in front of my house.
okay. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and proceed at this time. Go ahead and proceed with your survey if that's what you want to do, and then be in contact with the building department. We would expect to hear something back from you within a couple weeks on that, and the surveys usually don't take very long to do. It's getting it set up. But as long as we're in contact with, if you would have the folks that are going to do the survey for you, contact our department as well and let us know when they plan to do that, and we'll be able to all be in the same loop. And,
The guy won't be back in Frankfurt for another week or 2.
okay. Well, if he's back in another week or another 2 weeks, he can contact us just so we stay on top of it. The tree is really, I see it as being a danger to the public just because it's about to completely
Well,
fall.
as I said last time we were here, when we bought the house off of Lynn O'Neill,
Mm-hmm.
he explained to us that that tree was on property line. It was half ours and half the house next door. Well, we took care of our half.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's the reason we have to figure out where it's at. So let us know let us know who's going to do the survey for you so that we can be in contact with them as well and we can get a completion date on it.
We're also going to put up no trespassing signs on the back lot, as we have someone that trespasses quite often.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your efforts so far. Request by the Cass County Veterans Organization. This is a request to, is there anybody here representing the Cass County Veterans? Okay. This is a standard request that's submitted to us every year for the Memorial Day program that the veterans put on. As I said, it's the standard process that we do. However, there's a request to the city, to the Board of Works, to close Highway 25, and I've been in contact with State Highway. They have not contacted me back yet. I certainly don't have a problem closing the portions of the streets that they're requesting that are under the control of the city. But until Highway 25, or until the NDOT allows that portion to be closed, I don't think we can authorize.
Do we just do it subject to their
We can.
approval?
Okay.
I'd make a motion that we approve the request subject to NDOT's approval of closing the state highway.
And I'll second that. So, motion to close some streets, various streets in town on May 28th at 9:45 a.m. has been made and properly seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. It's with that condition. Dumpster request. Cesar Reyes of 511 King Street has requested a dumpster be placed on the street so he can make improvements to the property, and I certainly don't object. I appreciate him doing it. There's nobody here for Mr. Reyes, is there? No. I would make a motion that we approve the dumpster to be placed there.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Dumpster request is okayed. Curb cut or street cut. Owner's name is Becky Rhodes, 1919 Spear Street, and this is to allow repairs to a broken sewer line that's in the street. It's one of those things that's going to be necessary. I would make the motion that we approve the curb cut.
Second?
Start date of April 2nd, the completion date of April 2nd. It's been moved and properly seconded to allow the curb cut. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Approved. BZA Don Vitello, DBA Logan Auto Body. How you doing? You here for that? Okay. Okay. Okay, Scott, can you come on up? If you would, state your name and address. Not that we don't know each other, but just for the record. Okay, Scott, thanks for being here. One of the reasons that you're here is that we've received a number of complaints about specifically parking on the street and parking sort of at an angle in the front that blocks the sidewalk and then also partially blocks the street. And I know our community development department has been there and been in contact with you, and we just need to follow up with that. We have to do this in a public meeting in order to give proper notice.
George, here stopped by a couple weeks ago, brought it to my attention about parts on the side of the building. It's been there since Logan Auto Body. That's where he all puts parts. With complaints about the stuff on the side of the building, stuff thrown up, cars parked on the sidewalk. If you drive back by there yourself today, take a look, you probably can shake my hand. It's all been cleaned up, everything's off the sidewalk, flower beds all redone. I spent hundreds of dollars.
And we appreciate that.
I understand. All I have to do, he notified me of the problem, I fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a problem, notify me, I'll fix it.
Okay.
I've never had nothing said in writing, I've never been sent up in writing saying there's a complaint about, parts on the side of it, I'll fix it.
Okay. And I appreciate that. And this.
People want to see nice when they pull up,
Yeah, this is part of the process that we have to go through, and I hope you can appreciate where we're coming from. I do appreciate your efforts, and as a matter of fact, I've had reports that the parking issue has been taken care of in front of the building, and I thank you for that. The difficult part, I'm sure, for you is to make sure that it doesn't happen again. That's the complaint. It's a consistent complaint. We're just trying to be fair to everybody in the neighborhood.
I'm not done with the front, I'm planning on putting up a thing around there, just a couple little benches and chairs so no one can pull up that way anymore.
Sure, and I do appreciate that. I want you to know that, and that is the focus of our concern today, is to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So with that, it's just, I guess this is really just the official notification, and we had to do it this way. So Any questions?
Yeah, just a follow-up question. Scott, on the, did you buy the property that was the old Ionelli store?
No, I didn't buy the property because I came to get zoned on it, and that kind of me. They'll allow me to park 7 cars with no major damage. I can't spend $20,000, $30,000 on a parking lot. I'm a body shop. People wreck cars, that's what my service is. I'm not gonna spend that kind of money on something that ain't gonna serve me any purpose. I mean, I have a body shop. I can't, people, they get in wrecks and I fix them, and that's my whole problem, is parking.
So you don't own Ionelli's?
No, I do not own Ionelli's.
Okay, that is actually a separate issue. That would be the next one, so,
My son owns it, part owner of it.
okay.
I would like to have it. I'd not like to make it a parking lot to solve my problems. But I'd like to be able to park red cars there. I mean, it's not like they're gonna be sitting there. You wait on them to come in, you got a full shop, you got red cars, you got no insurance, you know, send something, you know, what am I
Sure.
supposed to do?
If you would, we'll go ahead and
Sorry, my fault.
no, that's okay. We'll go ahead and finish up on the first one, which deals with Logan Auto Body, or the request that was made in 1998 when Vitello still owned the property.
Okay.
And that was a condition when he was granted authority to make those improvements. He had to agree, and you should have been made aware of that when you purchased the property also, that there were restrictions that were placed on a property as far as the use variance. So, and what that use variance is parking in the street. And we'll get you a copy of all this. I don't know if you have it or not, but we're happy to get it for you. And there's some other restrictions. Really, there haven't been any complaints about it, and we haven't been too aggressive in going after every little detail of it. So we'll go ahead and finish up with that one. If there's no other discussion with the first one, which deals with BZA case 9814, then we'll go ahead and set that one aside. Thank you for the progress and for your willingness to work with us, and ask you to continue to leave the street open, and you know, if there's parking that needs to be same direction with the street. Anything else?
So do we need to make a motion to approve doing nothing?
Yeah, I think so.
I'd make a motion we do that.
Okay, we'll just say that Mr. Hunter has been notified regarding the 1998, the BZA case 9814 and requirements. We will get you a copy of this so that you have it. Okay, the next one deals with, it was a BZA case 0815, and it dealt with the Ionelli property. There were several restrictions that were placed on that property as far as the use variance, and I see our planning department here, and I would ask Aaron to come forward and give some detail.
On this property, it was approved to have that as storage for his vehicles, and when you come to the BZA, you have to provide a site plan on what you're actually going to do. So I have what he provided us, and so that's why he had, I think he had 6 places shown on his site plan.
Is Michael your son?
I'm Michael.
You're Michael. I didn't know
I
that.
got a son, Michael.
Okay.
Yeah, he's only 10 years old.
Okay. Well, it wasn't him that signed this then.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt.
So, so he provided us this, and I don't know if you guys have it.
Yes.
And so what we base our approval on is what they provide us. So if he wanted to change this, he would have to go back through the process. So if now he wants to take down the garage and the house and put more parking, that would have to go back through the process. But right now, basically, if he's allowed 6 parking spaces, he's supposed to be continuing with that garage that's there currently, leaving that up and putting a fence next to the residential. So that's what was approved because that's what was presented. If he would like to change any of those, he's welcome to come back through the process. And then there's also conditions here. And I don't know if you want me to go through all of them, but a lot of them are just basic, what we say for any commercial garage. And I know at the meeting, we discussed whether or not there would be major wrecked vehicles, and basically he said he would point those to the fence so that people driving in town wouldn't see them. But any of those things that were talked about at the meeting could be resolved at going back through the process. All we can do is approve what they bring forward.
Go ahead.
They requested, I didn't request, that likely it was to be faced towards the fence. They didn't want any major damage. It's written right on there. I mean, the problem is, Ted, is what do they consider major and what do they consider light? When you tow a car in, if it's wrecked bad, I can't determine which way, depending on where it is, how it fits in the first place. And like I said, they're only there a few days.
Sure.
You know, you're waiting to get them in.
It was the way that this was approved by the BZA, placed these conditions on that at that time, and one of those conditions was that the fence had to be constructed before any cars could be parked on it.
I agree 100%.
And I don't think you can build the fence until the building comes down.
Exactly.
And so that's, you know, it seems like this thing sort of snowballs, and when one part or one component of the agreement doesn't take place, then it makes it almost impossible for the rest to take place. And there again, I think maybe the answer is, if your desire is to use that property, yet not tear down the building, that you're going to have to go back before BZA.
I want to tear it down. It's an eyesore. It's ugly. I don't like it. I want it down. I want to put that parking lot there. But I want to be able to park a wrecked car there. And
Well,
not have to worry if I got to have it shoved against the fence and it's sitting right by the cane. How am I going to turn it around and get there in the first place? Depending on which way it's hooked up.
you know, in defense of the planning and the Board of Zoning Appeals, I think they gave a pretty liberal interpretation of that, just to say major wrecked vehicles, but there's a couple of insurances that I think they're giving you some latitude to work with, and that is that the garden landscape in the front and the fence that separates the property, and then yet again it would be surrounded on the third side by that existing garage that's there. And so, you know, you gotta get the building down before you could do, you gotta do number one before you can do 2 and 3. And then I don't think you would have a lot of complaints. I'm getting complaints really about the cars that are plainly visible as you head north over the railroad tracks, and then the sidewalk being covered with mud where the cars are being pulled in and out. And there's a number of joggers, believe it or not, that call me on a regular basis saying they can't run. There's mud on the sidewalks and they have to run out in the street, and they don't want to do that. And well, and you understand where I'm coming from, though. And so these conditions were placed on that property before it could be used as it's described. And the paperwork that I have here is signed by apparently you, but there's an attachment with it that's very specific, and it says that you will construct a privacy fence approximately 80 feet from the garage towards the woodlawn. There's a lot of details in it, and I can get you a copy of this as well. But it sounds as if maybe the answer for you is, if you don't want to tear that building down now, to go back and ask for yet another variance. And if it's granted, we'll gladly, you know, allow you to proceed. If it's not granted, then this is the only thing that's in place right now. Okay, then I will also get you a copy of the BZA case 0815 that spells out the current conditions, so you'll see what's agreed to. And just consider this as a learning process and be very specific in what you're asking for the next time.
I'm going to tear it down.
Okay.
Regardless. I'm going to tear it ugly. I'm going to tear it down. And I plan on doing it here in the next couple of 3 months. I talked to them, contacted Gary Lee. And he was supposed to meet with me yesterday afternoon. We got called off somewhere. So.
Yeah, well, we want to work with you, and we want to see your business succeed. It's, you know, the garden that you talked about on the Woodlawn Avenue side is a very inexpensive fix. It screens the cars that are sitting there, and people really can't complain about the garden.
I want people to drive over there to Logansport and say, wow, look at that, ain't that cute?
Yeah. And we want to work with you too. So, okay, just know that this is a constant source of complaints to us, and we had to do something, and this is the first step in it. So get with Aaron, and if that's what you want to do. Otherwise, if you're set, if you're if you've made the decision to tear the building down, then it sounds like that's the expensive part. The shrubs and the fence would
No,
be.
not the shrubs and fence was my idea.
Yeah.
I didn't want to draw that out.
Yeah.
I was gonna put a big flower garden out there and put a big thing with memory by Nellie Grocery and have their family on it.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, that was my idea.
and because it's so lax in determining what's a major damage, we would talk to you. When this happened and putting vehicles on there, if there came a concern, we would talk to you before doing anything. We would say, you know, this is a little too, it's mostly ones that are totally wrecked that can't be moved at all or you're scrapping. I don't know if the whole process.
Yeah.
And so those are the ones they're talking about. They want us to still look like an
Anything would be there
entrance.
would be waiting to be fixed. It wouldn't be nothing sitting over there as
Yeah.
nice or.
Not like a junkyard.
And I think that's what they wanted to make sure
I
you
come
do.
by your car in my shop and there's a jump sitting there.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so that's the purpose of why that was in there, is
Yeah.
so that that wouldn't happen.
Okay, sounds like we're all on the same page. All right.
I
Well, thanks
also
for being
have,
here.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
These
All
are the
right.
conditions that Don had to follow, so I just wanted to give you a copy of that.
Any questions?
So I'd make a motion that we give Mr. Hunter copies of the approvals and we're referring back to the BZA.
I just gave him a copy.
Okay, he has a copy. All right, very good. Be in contact with us. If you're going to tear that,
I'll tear it down.
get with the building department, get your permit, you're good to go. Thank you.
Need a vote?
We need a vote on
And we didn't vote on the other either, so
Okay.
we have vote on both of them.
that? Okay, I have a motion and a second to accept, I don't know, what are we going to accept?
We gave him
To-
information about
to-
prior approvals referring for changing back to BZA. That's the way I worded it quickly.
Would you word that again, please?
Yeah, is that we gave him information about the two prior approvals and for any changes or for clarification referring back to BZA.
I would second that motion. It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Acting Building Commissioner, Deb?
Okay. I had two building inspections this week. One was at the River of Life Church and one was at Shoe Sensation. And I issued a certificate of occupancy for Shoe Sensation at Eastgate Plaza.
When are they moving in?
Huh?
When do they take occupancy of that? When do they move in?
I believe this week.
This week? Okay.
Mhm. And I ordered some properties to appear, and I'll just update you on those. 942 Garfield, a guy bought it in the tax sale in February, and he is planning on rehabbing it when he can get into it, and he's already brought me a plan of action.
Good.
So after he can get possession of it in June, he looks to be done in 90 to 120 days.
Okay.
So, and then 102 Eel River Avenue is owned by a bank. They signed for their letter, but I have not received anything from them yet. 98 Eel River Avenue, the guy who owns it, we haven't seen him for some years. He did not sign for the letter or anything.
Did he refuse the letter?
No, it just came back, unable to forward. We have to go by the address that we can find.
Okay. Do you know if 98 was the one that was in the tax sale in February? There was one on Eel River Avenue that was in the
I
tax sale.
believe it was.
Okay.
So I'll have to do some checking to see if somebody actually purchased
I
it.
think somebody did, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll do some checking on that. 1422 and 1426 Erie Avenue are owned by the same woman out of California. I sent her a letter. She did not sign for it either. And hers was unable to forward also. So 942 Garfield was already condemned. 102 Eel River Avenue was already condemned, but I'm trying to follow up and get a hold of these people if I can. So I just, wanted you to be aware of where they were at.
Okay.
I did 8 permits this week. The 2 commercial were electrical permits. And I had one contractor registration.
Okay. For the record, I had a person that stopped in regarding 1509 Erie Avenue, which was on last week's report. And she has approached the county wishing to buy that property. The next county sale is going to be September, I think, possibly October. She wants to buy the property and rehab it, even though it's condemned. I told her that we would do everything we could to cooperate with her and give her a chance to buy that and rehab the property. So if you'd make note of that,
Okay.
we'd certainly appreciate that.
Yeah, anything we can do to get them rehabbed as opposed to tearing them down, I'm all for it.
Right.
So,
Questions?
Motion to approve the report.
And a second. Been moved and properly seconded to accept the building commissioner's report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. And I think you're going to do the code enforcement report as well, aren't you?
I think so.
Good.
We issued 4 violations. We continued 8. We cleared 1. We sent out 2 certified letters, and we have 3 with a notice to appear. One of them is 1305 Spear Street. We still have not heard from him. We're going to keep pursuing that. And one of them was Mr. Hunter, which we've already heard from. And Jeff Murray's property at 1418 High Street. We made a mistake on the report.
What was the address?
1418 High,
Okay.
and it has been cleared. It's cleaned up.
What was the violation there?
Stacks of building material and wood and shingles and things like that, and they were blowing into the other neighbors' yards and stuff.
Okay.
And then we had 2 cleanups, 1228 High Street and 920 West Miami, which the street department did for us. And we tagged 2 vehicles last week.
Questions regarding the code enforcement report?
None. Motion to approve.
It's been moved, and I'll second. It's been moved and properly seconded to accept the code enforcement report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right. 2-0. Thank you, Deb. Superintendent of Public Works, I have a report here from you.
Good morning.
Morning, Dan.
I've submitted my reports for the Mount Hope Cemetery and for the Logansport Street Department for your review. This time I'll answer any questions, comments.
Are you mowing grass now at the cemetery?
Oh dear. Yes, sir. Yes, we are.
Is it every day?
Yes, sir.
How long does it take to make one round?
If I'm getting this, we haven't been a full week, but it takes 7 days from the time you start point A to get back to point A.
7 days. How many acres is it? Do you know? Not
No,
important.
sir, I do not know
That's
the
all right.
acres.
And does that also include the cemetery at 9th Street?
Yes, it
Okay.
does.
Do you run a route through the city
Yes, we
every
do.
week to pick up?
Yes,
lawn
we do.
debris? So it's not call me, it's we just come by and pick it up?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Every week? Every
Yes,
alley, every week?
Every week. And one is, like on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is a bag route, and Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is a brush route.
Okay.
And I have had calls, and we go and take care of it, and 2 days later, you can't tell we've even been there, and it's an ongoing thing, but we'll get a hold of it.
Questions? Anyone?
Make a motion to accept this report.
Been moved and properly seconded to accept your report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan, if you could stick around and see me after this meeting. Police Chief Mike Neer.
Morning.
How's it going, Mike?
Not bad. How about you?
Good.
I got a couple things I want to talk to you about, fill you in on our hiring process.
Okay.
We had a total of 9 applicants make it through the hiring process that we started there on the 17th of March down at Riverside Park. They were contacted and given a full app, which is supposed to be turned in by April 4th. And then we're going to start our background checks and do a thorough check on each applicant. And then everything will be turned over to the mayor. And we're going to do the polygraph test after that, which is going to be a mandatory test. You have any questions on any of that?
Keep us posted.
I will.
Nothing? Okay.
All right. And one other thing, I want to thank Officer George Franklin for all the many years of service with the Logansport Police Department. I was gone last week.
Yeah.
And we're going to miss him.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, George. That's all I got.
I'd make a motion we approve the chief's report.
I would second that.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you, Mike. Fire Chief Strong.
Morning.
Morning.
Just to report on, we've been doing a lot of training. Did training on extrication this week and car fires. I'd like to thank Mike's Auto Service, Hayden's, and Discount Towing. We worked at all 3 of those places this week, and really nice of them to supply cars for us and to let us use their places to do this. Also, we have an agility test set up this next Wednesday night for applicants that haven't gone through our agility test, and so we got about at least 10 that's going through that on Wednesday night. Just to keep you up to date on that. And then, as you know, you probably see a lot of construction going on down at the fire station area there. The trail's going through there. Half our approach has been done. As soon as it's secured and ready to go, they'll switch it over and do the other section. So we got trucks facing backwards on some part of it going out the back. And
Okay.
How long does it take that concrete to cure?
I don't know. They take samples of it and they break it. So I'm not in the construction field. So as soon as they tell me it's okay, then we switch them around. We're going to do the other half of that. A lot of stuff going on with that trail. A lot of changes all the time.
Certainly are. Any more questions for the chief?
No questions?
All right.
I make a motion we approve this report.
And I'll second. It's been moved and properly seconded to accept Chief Strong's report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Thank you, Mark. Board member comments?
None.
Visitor comments? Anybody? Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second?
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know how it goes.
Gary?
Gary.
Hey, Dan, can I see you for a minute? Over by the gas station on Richard.
You going over to the station?
It's actually Dan. I'm sure you'll hear it. I'm sure that we get notified of it today. It's nice. Oh, yeah.
3:20 yesterday afternoon.
Yeah. I didn't have anything. It's almost at 9 o'clock.
I know you have, this is a fair. We haven't had one
That's all I need. All right, good night. Gotcha.
Yeah.
when are you going to start the creation of the certification process, and are you going to do it?
Citation.
Citation.
Okay. Citation ordinance, I need to sit down with Ted to see if he wants to move forward.
Yeah. That's our easiest answer.
It's, and it's, you know, it's one of those where it's kind of where it's been over and over and over and over
Who
again.
issues the citation?
It would be the planning department, and then the planning commission can actually waive, or the attorney can actually say, no, we're not going to prosecute, or whatever. So there's a lot more to it. So we'll just sit down and look at it, and sit down with Randy sometime and look at it.
We just need to make the fine more stiff.
Well, our fine through our ordinance, there's a fine. The problem is you have to go to court to assess the fine. So this would be our way to assess the fine without having to go to court.
Right.
So it's $100 per day for violation. So it's pretty hefty.
Good.
It's just, we don't have anything to do it before we go to court. So that's, to get the citation going.
Takes the city ordinance first.
Right. And the citation ordinance is a little bit easier in the city because it's basically set up in the state law of how you have to put it together. County, there's